Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Mount Kimbie album, Cold Spring Faultless Youth. These guys are a UK-based electronic music duo. This is their sophomore full-length LP. Their full-length debut, Crooks and Lovers, was easily one of the most buzzed about electronic music albums of 2010. And that LP stylistically featured a lot of dubstep sounds, future garage sounds, a little bit of wonky as well. And they're really going for a noticeable change of pace on this new record, with more vocals, more live instrumentation, guitars, drums. They even have some vocal features on here from King Cruel, aka Zoo Kid, on 2 different tracks. One of those 2 tracks, You Took Your Time, is actually one of my favorite tracks off of this LP. I loved it as the record label Warp Records dropped the song up to the release of this album. And part of the reason I love the track so much is because King Cruel is incredibly passionate and convincing as a vocalist. Yes, he's not always there in terms of pitch, but I feel like when he dips in and out of it, it's because he's sort of really overacting and just really bringing something that's, it's hitting me right here. However, the vocals that Mount Kimbie brings to the table on numerous tracks from this LP, not as gripping. A lot of the vocals that Mount Kimbie offers are very faint. They're obscured a little bit too much by reverb and in my opinion, somewhat passionless. And the vocals really are a consistent issue for me on this LP. There's not really one single track on this album where I like them. However, that's not really the only thing keeping me back from enjoying this release. For one, I think the recording on this album is a little too lo-fi, really. And that could possibly be the case due to the title of the opening track on this thing, the home recording reference. And, you know, for sure, there are some great lo-fi records out there, fantastic lo-fi records, really. But I think that this recording quality bites this record in the butt. It really bites the duo in the butt on here, mostly because of the fact that the sounds really are not that vivid. They're not that unique or interesting, and the melodies aren't really vivid enough to cut through the extreme amount of reverb and again just how faint some of these sounds are. I know Mount Kimbie from their debut tend to run a little subtle, but the consistently murky flavors on this record just really takes the life out of some of these sounds. Listening to the songs that were dropping from this LP as they were being released was okay, you know, 1 or 2 tracks at a time, but as a listening experience, as a full-length listening experience, this record can get a little monotonous. Not only can the sounds be pretty faint, but the songs as well in terms of structure. The song Made to Stray is one of the better pieces of drum programming on this LP. It's got a nice beat to it. It's very busy. It's very detailed, but the progressions really aren't there to keep the song interesting from beginning to end. It gets really dull, and when the vocals come in, again, they don't really add that much change to the overall feel of the track because of just how unengaging they are. There are other tracks on here like Breakwell, which don't really peter out into a full song. It brings an interesting synthesizer idea or just kind of a motif-like thing, and then it cuts out. And while some songs are short, others seem to kind of drag on a little bit. The song Blood and Form is one of the most obtuse tracks on this album. It has the oddest, most off-kilter beat, and a lot of the sounds throughout this track are just so sour and kind of unrewarding. It's really a jumble, a kind of unrewarding jumble, I think. As far as some of the instrumental pieces, like toward the back end of this LP, where I'm hearing what feels like more live instrumentation, I mean, the performances are fine. Mount Kimbie is most certainly tight. Nothing feels incredibly out of place, but it's just all too breezy. There's just not a lot for me to, I feel like, latch onto with this album. The music just wasn't really moving to me. There weren't many moments that offended me, but I feel like this album is sort of like a minefield of boredom. I know that's brutal. I know that's just a harsh thing to say, but I just don't really care for it. There's not much on this record that I enjoy listening to, unfortunately. If you've given this LP a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Thank you for watching. Anthony Fantano, Mount Kimbie, forever.